Want to master Jasper reports from beginner to advanced? You are in the right place. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the full Jasper reports course. In the previous video, we exported a Jasper report into an HTML file. In today's video, we are going to learn how to export a Jasper report into our document using Java. So, without wasting any time, let's start the practical implementation step by step.
Okay friends, as you can see we have already created project JasperReport project. This is a normal Java project. You can use the same project or you can create a new project as well. There is no problem. But you want to use the same project. One thing you remember, whenever you want to convert JasperReports into PDF file, HTML file, Word documents, Excel, you have to add JDBC MySQL connector and you have to add all the JasperReports jar. As you can see, we have libraries. Inside that we have MySQL connector because whenever you want to connect Java application with MySQL database, based on this driver we can connect it, and whenever you want to generate Jasper reports into different formats like Excel, PDF, HTML, Word and so on, you have to add Jasper reports jar. Okay, we have already added these files like MySQL connector and Jasper reports jar. There is no need to add these jars once again. Whenever you want to add, just right click on this. We have add library and we have add jar. You can use these options to add libraries and add jars. Okay, but you want to skip that. Just you want to create new package. Right click on the source package. Then new, we want to create a new package, for example word util. Then finish. Inside that we want to create a new class. Right click on that. Just create normal Java class. For example, let's add name for that. Export, for example, Jasper to Word. Okay, you can add any name, there is no problem. Then finish. Okay, we have an empty class, there is no code. We want to start coding. First, what we will do, we want to add the required classes and interfaces. Let's add this. Simple import java.sql.connection. Then we want to add import java.sql.driver manager. We have driver manager class. After that, let's add java.sql.sql exception. Thereafter, to manage parameters, we want to add hash map. Simple import java.util.hashmap. So thereafter, let's add Jasper reports classes and interfaces. Simple import. We have net package. Inside that we have sf package. Then we have Jasper reports. After that we have engine. And here we want to add Jasper field manager. Thereafter, let's copy the same package, the same import, and here we want to add Jasper print. Okay friends, we added different classes and different interfaces. As you can see, we have JDBC related classes and interfaces. We have hash map, then we have Jasper reports, different classes and different interfaces. That is good. Thereafter, let's establish connection between Java application and MySQL database. First, what we want to do, we want to define variables to store database credentials. Simple. For example, sorry, let's take string. For example, we want to add URL. Let's add this, for example, private. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Private final static string, for example URL equals, here we want to add database URL. Simple. We have JDBC driver, then we have MySQL database. Sorry, we have JDBC, then we have MySQL. After that, we have localhost. Okay, then we have port number. Okay, after that, we want to define database name. We have Jasper Reports DB. Okay, after that, we want to create variable for username and as well as for the password. Simple private final static string. For example, username equals the default username is root. There is no problem. Then we have private final static string. For example, password. We want to make this capital. Okay, the default password is empty. After that, we want to define report path as well as the output file. Okay, so we have mistake. Let's correct that. We have private. Then we want to define private, for example, string report path. As you can see here, we have source package. Inside that, we have reports package. Then we have Jasper Reports employee list. We want to define first what we want to do. We want to define source. Then we have reports. After that, let's copy the same name. Right click on that. Then we have rename option. Let's copy that. Okay. Then we have Jasper. Okay. After that, we want to define the report path. Okay. We want to define the report file. Simple private string, for example, output file equals and here what we will do, we want to create a new package. Simple, for example, let's add name for that. For example, word reports. Okay, you can add any name, there is no problem. Then finish, and here we have first source, then we have word reports. Thereafter, we want to add name for the report. You can use the same name as well. We want to use the same name. For example, documents. Okay. Okay, friends. Thereafter, let's establish the database connection between Java application and MySQL database. For that, first, let's define a main method. Simple. We have public static void main string, for example, a. Okay. And here in the first step, let's establish the database connection. For that, we want to use try catch with resources. Let's define the try block. Then we want to define the catch block. And here we want to catch SQL exception. Then we want to catch JR exception as well. Okay. For example, exception. And here we will write a simple message. For that, we want to use the system.out.println method. Simple, for example, error. Let's use, for example, exception dot get message method. Okay. And here we have an error. Let's import that. Okay. We want to establish the database connection. Simple. We want to take connection link equals, we have driver manager class. Then we have get connection method. We want to use that overloaded version that accepts URL, username, and password. Okay. We have already URL. Then we have username. After that, we have password. Okay. Everything is fine. Thereafter, let's define parameters because Jasper Reports has parameters, employee name, and department name. For that, we want to use hash map key, for example, string type value object. For example, params equals, we want to initialize that with new hash map. Okay. And here we want to put, let's correct that. Okay. And here we want to put parameters. We have params dot put method. We have parameter, for example, param department name. First, we want to check that we have HTML reports. We have HTML util. And here we have already these parameters, param department and param employee name. And let's copy the same parameter from that class. There is no problem. Okay. Okay. As you can see, we defined two parameters, department and employee name, because we want to filter data based on the IT department. You can pass any department name, there is no problem. And you can pass employee name as well. Whenever you want to search specific employee, you can pass their name, there is no problem. Okay. So thereafter, we want to fill the report with the data. As you know that you want to get data from MySQL database, and here we want to use, we want to use Jasper print. For example, print equals, we have Jasper field manager class, then we have field report method. And we want to use this overloaded version that accepts Jasper report parameters and data source. We have connection, which is database connection. We want to use that. And here we want to pass the report path. Let's make that. Okay. And here we want to pass report path. Then we have parameters. After that, we have the database connection, which is link. Okay. We have an error. Why? Okay. This is not a static variable. We have a report path. Let's change that to a static variable. You can use the same variable as well, but whenever you want to use the same variable, you have to create object from that class first. Then you have to use this variable, which is report path. But we want to make this variable static. Okay. Simple. We have private static. We want to use static. Okay. Static. And here we want to also use static. Okay. Thereafter, let's use the JRDocxExporter because we want to export Jasper reports into our documents. Simple. We have jar exporter. For example, exporter equals, let's initialize that. Okay, friends, thereafter, let's specify the input as well as the output. As you can see, we have already input because this data comes from the database, from the MySQL database. And then we have output. As you can see here, we defined the output file. Okay. We want to specify input as well as the output. Simple. We have exporter, set. We have exporter input. We want to use simple exporter input. And here we want to specify this print, because inside the print variable stored the complete results of the report. Okay. Thereafter, we want to specify the output exporter dot set export output. And here we want to use new simple output stream, and we want to specify the output path. We have output file. Okay. We want to use this. Okay. Okay, friends, as you can see, we established a connection between Java application and MySQL database. That is good. Thereafter, we define parameters, department name and employee name, and here we search data based on the IT department. Okay. Thereafter, we filled report with the data, and we got data from MySQL database. Okay. And here we used document exporter because we want to export Jasper reports into our document. And here we specified input as well as the output. That is good. Thereafter, let's export Jasper reports into our document. Simple. We have exporter object. Then we have export report method. Thereafter, we want to use simple success message. For example, system.out.println. For example, employee report. For example, exported successfully. Okay, everything is fine and everything is finished. That is good. Let's save the changes. We want to run the application to see the result. Right click on that, we have run file. It takes some time, there is no problem. Okay friends, as you can see, we got a message, employee report exported successfully. Let's see that. We have project root folder, Jasper Reports project. Then we have source. After that we have our reports. Let's open that. As you can see, we have employee list. Let's open that. Okay, that is good. As you can see, we successfully exported Jasper reports into our document. We have the complete employee list report. Okay friends, in the next video, we want to export Jasper reports into Excel file. If you have any questions, you can write them in the comment. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos.